So testing. So coming back to this, so this week we're going to be doing CSS, right? Basically last week we did HTML tags and we were able to cover a couple of tags. We talked about, okay, the last one we talked about was semantic tags, right? Now, if you come to this left hand of this place, you notice like there are a couple of files here. We have the HTML, we have the JavaScript, we have the CSS file. So basically, we're going to be writing our code in this CSS. That's where we're going to be writing our code. So basically, for the whole of this week, so we're going to be doing going through these tags, right? These style sheets, and then do as much as possible within this style sheet. Now, what is CSS? CSS means cascading style sheets and it's used for styling elements, HTML elements. Now, like I said before, if you remember on the first day we started our introduction, the day we did our first introduction, right? I talked about painting stuff as an artist, right? That CSS allows us to paint, right? Add color, to do a lot of stuff to make our website look beautiful. That's basically what CSS does, right? Now, without further ado, let's just move in. Now, I'm going to be creating a new HTML file here, right? You can have as many HTML file here, it doesn't matter. You can have as many HTML and CSS file. So just all you have to do is just add the name here, and then it's gonna show up. Now for this, I'm going to create a new HTML file. So I'll call it a file. So I'll call this week 2. week2.html. Now, one thing, there's something I really want to talk about, but I guess it skipped my mind when the phase we started. I want to talk about something real quick, what we call extension. So I'm going to move down here. Take this off. Extensions, right? Real quick. Hope this is correct. So what's extensions basically? Now extensions are any stuff, any letter or number or alphabet after the dot in unify name. For example, let's say we have something like hello, then dot txt. Now looking at this file name is divided into two. This is the file name. This hello is the file name. Then everything after this dot is the extension name. I guess let me expand this more. Right? Is the extension name. Anything here is the extension name. Now for every HTML file must end with the extension of dot. Let's say for example we have index, must end it with dot html. Now why is extensions important? Basically your computer doesn't know how to handle your file, right? Now let me digress a bit. Basically, when you are installing an app, let's say for example you have VLC, you have Google Chrome, you have which other app? Google Chrome, VLC on your phone, on your system, right? Or on your phone. Basically, your operating system work is like a manager. Your operating system act as a manager. Your operating system doesn't know how to handle files. What happens is that when you're installing this app has what we call XML files that explains to the operating system that this is what I do. Basically, this is my work. Now, for example, if you notice something when you have like multiple media player, for example, you have HTML, you have MX player, and you have probably any other player on your system, on your phone. When you click on any file that has dot vm dot mp4. Let's, for example, click on the file, say this is, let's say, home alone. Oh, I don't know what happened to my typing. Yeah, definitely home alone, right? Dot mp4. Now, what happens basically that your system doesn't know how to handle this. What your system goes through is that he goes through the list of app that you have on your system, app or software that you have on your system, right? And then fish out the one that said on their description. Like, for example, when you're installing an app, it's like when you are doing an interview for a job role, and then on your CV, let's say you have on your CV, the person you're trying to hire has on the CV is that we are experts in, let's say, graphic design. Now, what happens is that because I hired you as a graphic designer, anytime in my company that I need anything that has to do with graphics, whether logo, flyer, or anything, I'll go through and be like, okay, Mr. Bayo said he's a graphic expert. He's an expert in graphic design. So okay, let's give Mr. Bayo this song, this flyer to do for us. That what happens. Now what happens is that each time you have a file that you want to open, if you double click on any file to open, what happens is that your system goes through the list of what it has. Right? Let me show you an example from my file system. So now we have a couple of images here. So now your system doesn't know how to handle all this here. What happens is that once I click on this, notice that I said if what's it called, an extension is anything after the dot. So this dot has, after the dot, after this job description versus reality, this is a mean. Now you find out that you have png. Now png is for an image, right? Different applications, different stuff has different file extensions, right? For video, you can get, for videos you have things like mp4, move. We have which other one? We have move, mp4. I can't remember that one, but I think there's another extension, right? For move, for movie, right? For music you have mp3, right? There's this for recording. The other format, there's, I think there's this for aux, right? These are for, these are extensions for music. Now we have for audio files. Now we have different one for text document. We have txt for just plain text. We have docs for documents. We have I think docs x for ms word, and so on and so forth, right? Now what happens is that each time I click on any of this file, any file that has any of these extensions, my system goes through the list of applications that I have on my system to figure out which one that on the description says it can handle this, right? And then it just passes it to just passes this particular file to that application to be able to process, right? Now on the web page, common extension that you see is this, right? HTML. Now HTML allows us to run. HTML is an extension that denotes that this is a web browser, is a web page, and it should be run by a web browser, right? Now which other stuff I need to talk about real quick, what am I forgetting real quick? That's for extension, right? Now let's talk about naming convention. Naming naming curve, right? Let's just have it like this, curve. Now naming curve, this allows us, this basically, naming conventions are industry standard way or method of naming a file. Let's say I want to have, okay, For example, look at this now. Look at this. So you remember, like if you're looking at this now, you have generated it's a word, icon is a word on its own. If I want to have another word here, let's say generated icon for, I'll add dash, HTML dash, a web page dash. You understand? So naming convention are industrial standard rules that allows us to properly name a file or a document in our computer system. Now we have two types of naming convention. We have dash, slash, underscore, underscore. Then we have the other one is camel case. Camel. This correct. Anyway, sure. Just get the points. Camel case. Right? At least are two naming conventions. Sorry. Now for this dash, so this like denotes that at when you have a file that has two words or more, that either you should separate them by a dash. For example, let's say I want to have a file name, or let's say something that has to do, let's say file name with names of students. Students. Looking at this thing alone doesn't make sense, right? So it takes the grace of God for someone to really look close and then to be able to figure out, okay, so we have names here, this is off, this is students. And to prevent this thing, we use two techniques. First technique is either we separate this by underscore dash dash. You understand? Or we use the underscore method. So we use, instead of this we have underscore underscore. This or this, right? For what's it called, within the computer ecosystem for programming, most of the time this is what you're going to be seeing. You see more of this than this, but either way it works. So either you see me using this, right, or you see me using this second one that I'm going to show you guys. So for camel case says that the beginning of each one should start with a capital letter. So let's say I have our names of students. Now for camel case, now of will be a capital letter, students will be a capital letter. So it will be names of students. Now the starting letter of each word is going to be a capital letter. Let's say we want to have anyone list of items, you can still have it like this. The first one is going to be a small letter, list of capital I items. Now this will help separate items. So I can boldly look at this one and tell, okay, this is what this guy is trying to say. Names, this is names. The first letter character of the new word of is capital. The second one is capital. Even if it's 10 word chain, I'm sorry. Even if this is a 10 word chain, right, it's gonna have the same pattern. This camel case, right? Now, either you see me using this or you see me using this. Either way, these two works, right? So this, but it's not common to see this, but you can still get it now. Now HTML file extensions doesn't permit what's it called, separation. Now if I want to have this word and I definitely have it like this, for example, I do something like name dash of dash and space, sorry, students, right, and do .css or dot something .html. Now it's going to treat this as an individual file, and then this one is the only one that will have .css. Now if you have this, if you write this stuff like this, it's going to see this as a separate 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 separate. That's it, right? Now this for naming convention. So let's start going up. Let's move on. Now we have another we have our week 2. So I created this from here. So I clicked on this new file, write the name of the file I want to name it, and then have it here. So at we start having our this guy doing. We start having our doc type. We have our HTML. So we close it up. Now the next thing we have is what's it called? The body, the head. So you close. In between the head you have your title. This is week 2. Week 2. We have body. Then we close our body. Right? I guess you're done here. Now let's start learning. So we've talked about so we'll start with another how to add. So looking at this, first thing is how to add CSS style. So we have three major ways of adding CSS to our code. So the first method, so I'll expand it from this side. First method is what we called, we have internal, we have external, then we have inline. So these are the three methods to add CSS to HTML code: internal, external, inline. So let's start with internal. Now let's say we have a p tag. We want to add. We have a basic text. Okay. What's happening? H1. So let's say this is our first style. So for this, I'm going to, instead of having what's it called? Okay, let me click here first. Let me check out this. If it doesn't work, I'll show you the next. Okay, now this slash means that it's this first one. Index is the starting point. So for us to have this week 2, I just generally have to come here and type week 2.html and click on enter. So we have our first this here, right? Now to add, sorry, how am I adding? I think I didn't say this well. Now to add color to this, right? So let's start with the basic color first. So first of all, we have the structure is like this. We have style. So now that we want to add style. Now we click on this equal to. Then open up this. Sorry, you have this. So we have, for example, color. You open a column. Then let's say we want to have color blue, right? Then you close it to show that okay, I'm done. Oh, I'm done on this particular one by this. Now the basic structure of any the basic structure of this what's it called, of any style is, let me use the notes. Style. First of all, you have the style. So it group in this way, in this method. Now you have the style attributes, right? This is to show that we want to style an element. Now after it, now within the style is divided into two. Then we enter into the style, right? Now the style is divided into two: the style property and the style value. So style property then equal to style value. Style value. The same way in your math that you assign a variable, let's say we have a b c d, and then we are doing a linear or fractional equation, and then we are assigning variables. That's the same principle, right? And then once you are done with adding a style property and a style value, right, now you have to close it with this. Now to implement this in CSS, right, CSS doesn't support this equal to on the style property, how to assigning the value. So instead of this equal to, you treat it like let's say for example color, like what we did. Now this equal to is this, is using column. So column denotes equal to. Now to assign the value of, let's say, red. I don't know if this is making sense, right? Red. So this okay, let me shift this guy, let me make these guys bold, right, for it to be distinct, right? That's it. So style property, style value. First, you add the style attribute. So we have something like a p tag. Let's say let me hello world. Now you have the closing, right? Now you want to add, let's say, the red color to this. So you see what we have. We start having first the style attribute. So the style attribute is style equal to. Now you have your this, right, as a bracket, as what's it called, a container to hold the value and the property. Now the next thing is the property, the style property that you want to use. Let's say color. Now column, the value, so let's say red. Then close it. Let's say you have another side. Let's say you want to add let's say you want to increase the font size. You're still coming to this, so you can do font size. Yes. So font size column, let's say 10 px. right? Now notice like this allows me this code indicate that we are done here. So then we move to the next, 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 right? We move to the next, we move to the next, we move to the next. That's it. So coming back here, so we've added our style here. So we what we've said. So we are trying to show inline styling. This is inline styling. So if I refresh this, so we have our color blue. So I can change this to red, different color. It's a red. This inline styling. So let's donate internal. We have another p tag. I want to do we call this internal. We call this internal style. What's that? Internal styling. Now, for us to be able to use this will move us to another topic called selector. So this will move us to what we call selectors, right? Now, selector allows us to name give a page a particular element within an HTML page a name that we can use to later refer to that. The same way you when after giving birth to a baby you call it maybe Ayo, Emeka, Uju, Ada, any name you think of, right? That same way a selector allows us to name a tag in an HTML page that we can later refer to. So we have types of selector. We have class, we have ID. These are type of selectors. Either you use class or use ID, right? So these are two type of selectors that we have basically. Now let's move on. Now here I'll have here on this head, on this head I'm going to have style, a style tag. I'm going to have a style tag. Now, first of all, I need to name this thing something that I remember. So I'll come here, let's use ID, and then let's call this the name of this let's call it how am I going to name this now? First time. Now, another thing you should take note of is that whatever you name this is what we are going to call whenever you need to call this. So I'll just copy this, then come up to this side. Now add this hash, then style name, and then open up this. This is how to use the ID. And then let's say on this I want to add color of orange. This is how this turns out. So we have orange here. So notice the type. So the first step is you have to name you have to name this, right? After naming this, next thing is that you come up here. Remember, notice what I did. It's this. I added this style tag within the head. This is internal styling. So first of all, the inline allows us to write our code directly, our CSS directly on this page, right? Directly on that particular element that you want to style. Internal allows you to add the style at the top. At the top. This one is direct. On the tag. That's it. Now the next thing. So now, so on this head tag, inside this head tag, we created a style tag. And remember what we had here? So them added hash, the style name, now style property, style value. This for internal. Now for external, allows you to add style on a separate page and import it to your code. Now the external allows us to use this file, something like this CSS file here, to write our whole code on this CSS file, then import it to this place from the head, import it, and then we start using it. So I'm still going to go more on this, but let me just finish it up. Now the external, so we're going to do external styling here. Now for us to be able to do external styling, only what we have to do is to do link. We use the link tag. We use this, right? We have style sheets. We have type. We have I think CSS with text slash CSS. Now coming to this style. So this is the one we have by default. So this allows this one on default. This one makes targets the whole HTML file. So we still talk about selectors in a bit, right? We're still going to talk about selectors. So how many minutes? We're going to talk about selectors too, but just chill. Now we call in. So we've not created a new okay. So for this, let's create something to text it out. So I'm going to use a div on this instead of normal tag. This is a div. So we have text. Let's just have some text too. Oh, there's no need for the div. So So we have, let's have external styling. Then here we give our ID again. So ID. So let's call this so we call this, what do we call this, first style. So we call this second style. So I'm going to copy this up. Call this CSS file. Add our hash again. Paste it. Now start writing code. So the next thing we want to have here is let's make it, I'm going to make tweak this a bit and then we still talk about it. So I'll add a background color to this, background color of black, and then I'm going to do it a color of white. Let's how it's going to look. Why is it not showing? Let's see this. Nope. Okay, so I misspelled my style sheet. That was what happened. So look at it here, look at what we have here. So we style this from inline, so we used inland here, inline. So basically, so we're writing it directly here. So we used internal here. So we are calling our CSS here at the top. Right? Now we are doing external. And the external allows us to write code on a separate file. So we have this here. Then we can call it here. Look at what I did. Like, look, you need to be observant here. So here now, remember that all these styles, all these, this and this are inside the header tag that I did this, inside this head tag, not outside, not on the body, inside the head tag. So this is basic. So this is um how to end so we're done with this. How to add what's it called? How to add this. So we are done with this. So oh sorry. No. So we are done with this. Now we talk about selectors. Like I said, selectors allowed us to name a tag. To name tag to okay, let me a tag on an HTML a page so that it can be referred to later on. Later on. Right? That's tag. That's selectors. Now we have list of ways to select. So I said under it we have class ID. We have generic. Generic. We have which other way? Generic. Or do we say instead of generic, let's call it tag name. Tag name. We have other methods, but these are the three common ways that you're going to definitely be calling your this thing. So I'm going to be using I guess we'll be using this internal, or let's use external. Either one works, right? Now, okay, before least I forget. Now, how does this work? So there's what we call hierarchy of presidency in CSS, right? Let's say you have a particular item, a particular tag that you styled. You have inline, you have internal, and you have external. Now, once you have internal and inline, or internal and external on the same element, you're targeting the same element. So let's say you made um color red on internal, made color blue on external. So what color do you feel you're going to get, right? So basically, what you're going to get is the last one. Why? Because according to the order of presidency in style, the internal has more what's it called importance than external. Doesn't mean that, like, what it means that once you have an internal and external, the internal CSS is going to overwrite the external. The same way, if you have the internal, external, and you have the external, internal, and the inline is going to definitely write all of those things and then maintain only the internal. I don't know if this is making sense, but this is what we call presidency in styling. Now moving on, so let's use this style here. So now, if we talk about let's start with generic. So I want okay, let me have more div. Let me have other couple of elements here. Let's say I want to have a div um with show one. Now, so I have two options, right? If, for example, I know that my style is not going to change, and my style is going to be dynamic, like it's going to be static throughout this, and then I have, let's say, I want all my style to look, all my div, anytime I have div to look in a particular way. The best option here is button. Let's say you have a button, you have 3 or 10 buttons on your website, and you want that at what's it called, you want all of them to look basically the same. So okay, I guess I should just change this to button. So now, so let me target it generically. So all I have to do is to come here and write button. Now once I write this button, it's going to look for anything that has to do with button on my web page and then add this style to it. So let me do for button. Okay, let's see. So notice that, like, I don't really need to call the name of this one after the other. It automatically applies all the color, this color, to everything that has to do with what's it called, this. If I do the same thing for what's it called, image p. So you notice, like, all the paragraph here has started having background color green and then text color, right? That's to show you generic. It targets multiple either you call it generic or you call it tag naming base. Oh, fuck my head. Right? Now the next one we want to look at is the ID. We've used the ID. So this is how to use the ID. We've used the ID. So I'm going to leave the ID. Now the next one is class. So I'll put all of this. Class. Now another one is okay, class. Just give me a second. Okay, sorry for the break. I'm back. I went to get water. Mm. So back to what I was saying. Now class is the same thing with ID, but the only difference is that let me copy this and show you guys. Instead of having what's it called? Instead of having hash, use dot. So if we have our class, we have sorry. Have our class, we have class text, right? Now coming to this place, if we want to use, if we name our tag, so basically when you come here, instead of using dot, like dot, instead of using hash, now we use dot, then the class name, and then the style. Let's say we want to do okay, let's have it this. So for these guys, I'll go back to targeting my buttons instead of where is it again? Instead of paragraphs, let me go back to my buttons. So basically see it here. So there's not much difference between class and ID. Like two of them are the same. The only difference is just that in classes you use dots to call it, like you add dot before the class name. In ID you add hash before the class name. So basically I see the same thing, right? So nothing much, like I've not seen any, since I've been using, I've not seen any difference, much difference. So they are still they're basically the same thing. So either you see me use class, right? Or you see me use ID. Either way, it's still going to work. Right? It's still going to work. Now the only difference, like, well, most times you see people, if you go through most class, what's it called, most this thing, basically you see people use more of classes because I think class at some point allows you to group, like if you're building your own framework, your own CSS framework. A framework basically is what's it called, a written CSS code that allows us to bootstrap designs instead of writing things from the scratch, like doing color, all of those things. So now I can, if I use a CSS what's it called, library or framework, basically I don't have to type out the full colors. I can use what we have on those library to automatically generate styles without doing much, right? So now the next, okay, so we've talked about this is class. This we've talked about selectors, So I'll tag this is generic. I'll tag name. Because this tag name. So this is class, and this is id. And this is id. Right, that's it. Now we've talked about selectors. So next one is color, right? So in as much as we've been using color, we've been using what's it called, color, right, to experiment things, right? So we'll talk about in depth about color. Now basically color allows you to add color. Color to text, right? There's nothing much. Now CSS accept couple of color formats. Now we have first of all color name, right? Color name. We have RGB, RGB. We have hex, right? We have what am I trying to see? We have hex. We have which other one? We have RGBA. Now we have a couple of other formats that CSS allows you to use in changing the name and changing the color type of a text. But I think I will go through this, and this, right? So you can go and research on this how to, but I'm just trying to leave this here to show you you can still do this. Like these are popular ones. There are plenty other ones, right? Plenty other ones, right, that you can still use. Now which other one are we going to color? Now we're going to be using them one after the other. So I'm going to break this out. Add color. Let me. How many minutes have you gone in? Wow. Okay. Now, so let's start with color name. We've used color name already. Still still the same thing, nothing much. Color name. Right, color name was the first one that we were using, but let me see. Put it back. So I'm going to copy this and put all of them inside one div. So the next one is hex. So now this sect it's a bit different. Um, so you can come to this place, um, color picker, right? Just type color picker on your browser, and then you can switch on to any color, and then tweak to get what you want, right? Now, see, look at, okay, these are different other versions that says allows you see RGB, like I told you. See this format, this another one, this is this one also, right? And this is hex. So for now, I'm going to focus on this hex. So let's say I want to get this value, this color. So look at here, it's the value. So what it's going to look like. So if I keep switching on more, if I switch to another place, you see. Now this allows you, but hex allows you to have dynamic colors instead of being rigid. Like let's say for example having only what's it called, just red. So at some point you might want to have red, but you don't want it to be very red, like something in between. Or you want to have blue, you don't want it to be very blue, like I don't know, blue not blah blah blue. So like you want something light. Because on a norm, when you have your blue color, this is just your blue color, your regular blue color, you use your name tag. If you are using name, if you're using name, color name, right? Sorry. Now, but if you're using it as a decimal, X allows you to just um play around with the color combination till you get what you definitely want to have, right? So it's not a big deal. So just come to your web browser, any web browser, type color picker. So definitely it's going to show you, or it's going to bring up this page for you, right? So what color are we going for? I think something, I don't know. Okay, let's have this color. Okay, let's have this. Let's have this. I click on this copy to copy it up. Coming back to my HTML to have P. Now we have call it hex code. We have our style. I'm going to be using inline style for this, so that we don't go back and forth. But just, I hope you've understood style, like how different ways, like external, internal, and all of those stuff. So I'm going to be doing inline for now. So I don't want to move because we spend time, like I don't know, explain. So I'm trying to manage up time a bit so this video don't become too long, right? So now we have this. So the next thing we have the property. The property we want to change its color, and then how do you add this? Now to add this, you paste your text color. So let's see how you're gonna look. So the color is here, but I think it's not that bright. So let's look for a brighter color that we just let's look for a brighter color. So let's see, this one is bright. Or let's look for another one. Let's look for something shouty. Okay, I'll look for something shouty. Copy the code. And then let's check out. So this is it here. Alright, so it's a 6-digit character. So 2, you have 2. So let me bring back my notes. I'll add hex is hex. Okay, so hex. this is a 6-digit character. Base 16 character. So if you all remember your binary during your, I think, secondary or primary school, right? So we have base 2, we have base 8, we have base 2, we have base 8, which is alter. Base 2 is binary, base 8 is alter. We have x, which is base 16, right? So forth and so on. Now, if looking at what's it called, base 2, so binary base 2, base 2 basically is just 0 and 1. Hex, I say hex, octa, which is base 8, right? Octa, which is base 8, starts from 0, where did it start from? I think 0 to 8, 0 to 8 for octa. Now, decimal, which is base 10, starts from, okay, this guy stopped at 7, but it's supposed to be, starts from 0 to 9, right? Now x is a bit different since it's 16 characters. So x, that's base 16, starts from 0 to 9, then a b c d, so a b c to I think it's d, e, okay, f, sorry, stop at f. How does it count now? So 0 is for octa, for x, 0 is 0, 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 10 is a, 13 is b, 14 is c, 15 is e, 16 is what's it called? So that's the way it goes, like so on till 16, right? Till you reach 16. So it counts from 0 to 16. This one counts from 0 to 7, 0 to 9. So anything that, so hex, so if you look at this place, whatever we have there is, you're going to be seeing letters from only from 0 to 9 and a to f. Now, so it's divided to the hex color. Let's take this color as what is it called, as a case study. This premium class, right? Whatever I'm teaching here, it's premium. Very premium. You won't really find this. You won't really find a lot of people trying to explain this online. So this color is divided into 3. So the first one is this part, first part, second part, right? Now looking at what we have here, so I said it's start counting from this to that, and then so now we have, so which means we have f5, f is 16. So first of all we have f, and that is 16. Then we have 5, so this is 116. The color value is 116, comma. We have e, that's e is 15. We have 15, that's 151. And then we have the last one is 05, so we have 05. So 05 now. So how this is divided is that now, So the combination of bringing up this tweak, this guy, now basically whatever you see on your system, the computer has only just three only just have the computer has only three colors. The computer, let me repeat myself, right? The computer system has only three colors, which is red arrow, which is denoted as arrow. So R, so red, which is R, green, which is G, and then B, which is blue. So every other thing that you see on your computer system, both these colors here, but every other color you see on your computer system is the combination of this, the amount of red, amount of blue, green, and amount of blue. So looking at this, you have, for us to be able to get this color, taking this as a base, what's it called, as a base knowledge. So it took us using a what's it called, hex value. It took us, we had to mix 165% of red, 151% of green, and 5% of blue to be able to get this color you are seeing here. I don't know if I am making sense, right? So if you have questions, feel free to drop it on the WhatsApp group, or just bring your questions to the live class tomorrow, so where we talk about it more, right? So going forward, so like I said, the computer system only has three colors: red, green, and blue. And then that's where you have this RGB. RGB. So now the computer system has what we call pixel. So pixel is an individual box, like the tiniest, like the same way you have the smallest particle of any element. It's called atom. It's called the smallest particle of any matter. It's called an atom, right? So now the same way in your computer system, in this screen, your screen is divided into what we call pixels. And then for us to have this, we have to paint some amount of pixels with this, some amount of pixels with this, and some amount of pixels to this, to be able to have this. On that later, so I'll still come back to this when we start doing advanced CSS, where we talk about, like, I think I might talk about pixel, I might not talk about pixel, because that is a free knowledge. Just, I don't know. I have it at the back of your mind. Now, looking at this, so I said RGB, so this is where we got our RGB. So by setting this is the first, so it divided into, I said 6 characters, right? I had this amount of red, this amount of green, and this amount of blue to be able to come up with this color. This is me that is setting this to explain this base system. The next time, let's talk about so it also accepts RGB itself. So the computer system, CSS also accepts RGB itself to be able to perform what's it called? So RGB. So to be able to text out what we said, like let's test it out. Let's how it's going to look. So now for us to use the RGB, say okay, let's say for example, I already know the amount of red that I want, the amount of blue, the amount of green for me to have a particular individual and a particular color or a color theme that I need. Let's say I already have it. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So let's say I have, let's say I already have the amount of red, the amount of green, and the amount of blue that I want. I already know the amount that will form a particular color. I can just put the RGB instead of trying to use any other or stressing out for it, right? So to have a RGB, just put RGB, then open up this, and then within this you're going to add your color. So let's test out this to know if this really actually works. I'm going to copy this RGB code. I don't know. Let's just try it out. Let's see how it will look. Um, Bambi, Bambi, Bambi. So, right. So let's go. Let's go. Let's just test this out. Wow. So there's a slight tweak. I think we're still on that range, but I wasn't able to. I think they're still going to add a couple of other stuff, right? So, but I think you get the gist. We are close. So give or take, we're very very close. We're still within the range of this. So basically, I was able to perfectly get this one. So the color, this, I guess this is where I had issues with. I guess this is where the issue is from. I guess this is here. Right, this is this place though. So but that makes sense, right? So using this amount 1 and 2 3, we're able to get this color, right? We're able to get this color. Now this is for RGB. So you put up the RGB. So the first value is the amount of red, the amount of green, the amount of blue. So the combination of this amount of red, blue, and green, that gives you up the color that you have here. So what's next? So what next? What next? What next? Where's my notes? So okay. So which other type of color did I talk about? RGBA. The RGBA allows us to add opacity. The strength. Say the same thing. So we have RGBA. So here now add how many percent, right? So you can do 10%. Let's see. Other point is not showing anything. Um, oh, okay. Actually, it's showing something. So the opacity is not that really strong. So let me add the opacity. Let's say 80%. So this is it. Nothing much. This allows you to add the opacity, the strength of the color that you want. So the last one is the opacity. The RGB. You have RGB. So these are the common ones. So the other ones, if you look at this place, you have different other color. You have this for the RGB. I don't know which one is this. So I've actually used this one. So it's actually fine. Mostly if you're trying to manipulate an image. So this one is good for image when you're manipulating image. But I'm not going to try to use it here. That is for color. So the next one we want to go into is background color. So I think we do couple of stuffs and then okay. So let's talk about the next thing we're going to talk about is background color. create another div. So note, you can have multiple styles on your sheet too, like on a particular. So like for example, this doesn't like that I have this color here doesn't stop me from having other styles here, right? Basically, so it doesn't stop me from having other styles. It's just that, so I'm trying to build up, like I always say, I always prefer building up knowledge instead of showing everything at the same time, and then trying to like use everything at the same goal at a goal. So I always prefer to work on something, then practice it, learn another one, practice. So then using combination of those knowledge, you do something very, very awesome and amazing. So let's talk about background color. So background color basically isn't something different. Still the same principle, using the principle, color principle. You can put your background you can add a background color using either RGB, either RGBA, or either what's it called? X or name color, like any of them can still work. The only difference is just that you are doing background color instead of text color. So I'm going to have a div. So I'm going to have paragraph. So text. So I'll call this background. Background color. Right. So we have a background color. Now I can come to this place and be like, okay. Now, add background color, I'm going to use a name type, and I'm also add a text color. So I'm going to do background. Oh, sorry. I'm calling do background. Open it up, right? Then we have you have the color name. So let's say you want to do blue, and then we want to do a color of red. This is not common. This is just furniture, but why not? It's our code. It is our code, so why not? This is how it looks. So now I added a background color first. Just adding the color and then adding what's it called what I want to add it with, and then my thing. So I'm going to, let's say, copy this. Let's leave it like this. Alright, so let's leave it this way. So this background color, so you just add the background color, then color type that you want to use. Now which other one? So the next one is okay. So font size. And font size allows us to increase the text size. Text size. So assignment number one. Assignment number one. So tomorrow class, I want you to go research on a Google Docs, write down a Google Docs. I'm going to tell you where to submit it from. So on a Google Docs, list for me 20. No. Okay, let's do it then. 10 CSS value. CSS value text CSS site what's it called values with what's it called how's it called self is it font let's do 10 CSS with value measurement sorry yes good I found the right one 10 CSS measurement values so font type so all of this is grouped under font style right so within the font style you have font okay you have okay let me oh my god you will pizza I want Canada so now font style so under font style we have first one is font size we have font size we have font size and take out this color this thing here so font size font size allows us to increase or add text like text and reduce or increase text what's it called text size so I want to do font size of let's say 30 px font size let's say I don't know oh my dealer oh my dealer so notice that this one is bigger than all of these so if I increase this to 70 I want to enter Canada so that's it this for font size so we have font weight font weight now font weight allows us to increase the thickness of a style and then font weight counts from 100 counts from 100 to 900 so the bigger the number the bigger the what's it called so look at it here so like I said still so it accept count it also accept text so text we have I think small we have normal we have bold we have medium We have extra bold, extra bold. So this is it. Small, medium, all of these things representing ranging from this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. So let's test out first. So we want to do font weight, font weight one. Now we're going to use let me use 400. What's happening? Is okay. So look at this more bold. So the bigger the number, the more bolder it becomes, right? So let's do font weight 2 using this text. So can do bold. Okay, I guess. I want a Canada. So basically I don't know the same thing. So let's just do medium. Okay. So normally it's the same as 400. Okay, there's no medium. We have bold, light, normal. So we have thin. So thin represents small. We have this guy. We have bolder. We have bolder. We have light. So I think I'll be going for bold. So now, then we have another one under font. So this is font style that I'm trying to explain. Under font style, we have font size, we have font weight, then we have font family. Now font family allows us to add the same way all of us have different writings, right? Now font weight allows us to add oh my god. So sorry. Give me a sec. Now font weight font family allows us to add a different font phase. Like and the same way like we have different handwritings, right? All of us have different handwritings. The same way we have different fonts. So this allows us to just add different fonts to change this from default. So I'm going to do font family. So P font family. I'm going to be using like 1 or 2. So assignment number 2, the same doc HTML doc. Write out 10. So if you do 10 CSS measurement value measurement units, right? Write on 10 That's assignment number two. That's another 10 font families that you know. Font families, just research, write 10 font families, 10 CSS measurement unit values. So two of them, assignment one, assignment two. Put them together in the same Google Docs. So we do our style. So font family. So now the next thing we do, we choose. So I'll choose. There's what you call cursive. Then I want to increase the text size, so I'll just do font size. Remember, I entered this first with this guy here before adding another one. Font size. Font size. So I'll do 50 ps 60 cents. 50. I just let you know. So look at how it's looking. So this is different. By default, you're going to be using sans, right? Now cursive makes it look like this. We have plenty other ones. So I'm going to stop here. So just do your research. Write me 20. Is it 10 or 20? Okay. Let's make it 10. 10. And then write also 10. 10. 10. 10. Sorry. So as we're going to stop on fonts. As we're going to stop. So the next one we have I've done this, guys. I think there's another one of it here. Now let's talk about text align. Add another div. So text align allows us to what's it called? To position our text properly. So we have left, right, and center. Let's just try it out. So for this one, we have first of all we have our center. Okay, our by default it's always on the left, so we just have our left, and then we do so text align left. I'll just paste the other one. I'll change this to right. Then change this to left. Center. So let's go. So basically what happened. So the first one we had was okay, let me just add left here, right here, and then center. So this is how it looks. The left is on the left, right is on the right, center takes it to the center. So this is the center of this page. So it's going to remain at the center no matter what, whether whatever is happening is going to still remain. So this is basically text aligned. So it allows you to position your text. Mm. So so we are already 1 hour 35 minutes. So let me know. Okay. So I'll do two more. Okay. I just do these guys. I think I'll be a bit fast now. So I'll be a bit fast. So box text decoration. Text decoration. So text decoration we have underline. We have which other one? Couple of other stuff. Wait, let's just see it out. Mm, decoration. So there are a couple of things you can do here. So now you can do a couple of things. First, you can make it dotted, double overlay, you understand, solid, couple of other stuff, right? So let me underline this text. So you notice here, if you sit on the ground, it's underlined. So you can experiment with other aspects of text decoration, but I think I'll stop here. So the video don't get too long. Which other one? Let's talk about width and height. Oh, so basically, width allows you to add width. The size that you want that particular element to take. How it makes it difficult to ask question. So moving on. So we have our style. Mm, I'm so tired already. This one was 5 something AM. So after this line and this, I'm going to stop here. And then in the class we continue. We do this remaining ones on the class. Right. So um so style, let's do it. So width, let's give it width of 50%. Height of height of 20 px. So you won't really see this except if I add border. So we have not done this border, but I'll just add this border to show you how it's going to look. So border, so I'm going to do just the 1 px black solid. Why is it not showing? Mm, it's not showing. Oh, the border is not showing. So just know that height and width. So let me just take it out. Mm, my eye is already heavy, so I can't really think straight now. So I guess we call this a day here. So we continue the rest in tomorrow's class. See you 8 p.m. So if you have questions, so assignment number one, I'm bringing it back again. Assignment number one, um, write 20 CSS units of measurement, right, on a Google Docs. The second one, write what did I even say again? The second one, why? Something about this assignment. Font styles. Now you should search for 20 other different font size and then write them down too in the same Google Docs. So this is where we're going to call it a day. So we've really learned a couple of stuff today. We did, wow, awesome. So from our next class we start styling up our page, but basically this one we're trying to just pinpoint styles and then see how the styles are going to look. Now, but from our next class we're going to be pinpointing, we are going to be, sorry, designing an actual page using what we've learned so far. So if you have your questions, drop it on the comment section. No, I say comment, drop it on the WhatsApp group. Or if you still have any more confusions or concerning this, you can still ask me on WhatsApp on my DM, or you can ask generally. Or either way, I'll still be available to answer you right as soon as possible. So this is it for this video. It's getting like, I think we're almost 2 hours in. Yeah, almost 2 hours in too, and it's getting long. So I'm going to call it a break here. So peace, guys.